Imagine yourself exploring South America or climbing the Swiss Alps, experiencing new and amazing things. When you wake up, you don't know what the day will bring or what kind of new people you will meet. All these things are possible if you take a gap year. Since I'm close to graduating, hopefully, I have to make a decision regarding my future, which college I want to go to, or even if I want to go to college right away. Not all young adults are ready for college, but many go anyway because they think it's the only option. It is not the only option though. Today, I'll give you some reasons why you should consider taking a gap year before heading off to college. There are many different types of gap years you can take. First, I will define a gap year, then I'll speak about some of the concerns, and lastly about the different types, from travel to work. Now let's fill in the gap by clarifying some misconceptions of gap years. So, what is a gap year? Well, it's a time a graduate takes off, experiencing something other than high school to change up their routine and to grow between high school and college. There are different opinions regarding the value of gap years. Some are uncertain if they bring more bad than good. They believe that gap years will make you lazy and that you won't want to go to college and study after you've had your taste of freedom. However, in an interview with Mitchell Erickson, a recent high school graduate who is currently traveling South America independently, states, "Traveling has given me time to gain independence. Instead of being stuck at school, I have freedom to move around and experience new things. I've learned to appreciate simple things like warm food and water. It also teaches you how to budget your money. It has given me time to think about what I want to do with my life when you aren't worrying about loans, school, and jobs." And another thing I didn't expect was the joy of talking to people from many different countries. In a summary, a gap year is not about being lazy, but is a time to reflect, refocus, and renew, according to Mitchell. Another fear about gap years is that students will waste their time. TeenLife.com says to avoid this, structure is needed. If you don't have a structured plan, your gap year will fail. Poor planning is one of the biggest failures in most gap years. To avoid this, you need a vision and find a way to accomplish it through your gap year. You want to stay in a mindset of learning and develop new understandings. You need to know yourself well enough and look at your gap year with much research. Plan ahead, be organized, and have a purpose. Another concern is that colleges don't encourage gap years. If you have a college picked, it's important to see if they offer programs and scholarships while you delay your freshman year. According to Lynn O'Shashney, Princeton, Harvard, Cornell, and Yale universities offer these. These colleges and many others view gap years as worthwhile. They can see this as you taking initiative in gaining independence. Sometimes, if you do something really impressive, a college that didn't consider you might think about you. For example, a kid who was rejected by MIT ended up taking a gap year, and during that time, he spent his time developing an eco-friendly scooter and was even published in Popular Science. And yes, after this, MIT accepted him. Now that we've put to rest some of the problems, let's scoot on forward to the different options you can take. Whether you want to travel or not, there are many opportunities out there for you to choose from during your gap year. If you want to travel, there are many organizations that help make your experience more purposeful and structured. Thinking Beyond Borders, a gap year program, so that during your time traveling, you will gain purpose and direction to help you get a vision for what you want to do with college. During this time, you will also develop maturity and become more independent, most oftentimes in a less stressful environment. Traveling the world also teaches you many things that you wouldn't learn from traditional education. You get new perspectives and gain a mind for world culture and how other places think, not just America. Thinking Beyond Borders also says that with the program, you'll be better prepared for college and more focused when you end up going. Some of the organizations can be quite spendy though, but according to Study Abroad 101, almost anyone who can go to college can afford a gap year. There are many different gap year options out there, so it's best that you find the best one for you. Just because the program is expensive doesn't mean it's always the best. You want to get your money's worth, and you want to look for certain things like safety, and what the overall experience will be and how the group is led. It's important to carefully plan your gap year, and programs encourage you to get a job to gain money, because this shows ownership and it also gives you the independence of your decision. Many people will also work during their summer or their first semester and then travel in the second semester. But if you're into organized program, you can also travel independently. If you do this, you have freedom to go where you want, and it may be cheaper. This is not recommended though if you like to see familiar faces or are new to traveling, because traveling in a group is always safer. If you aren't into travel though, you can also take an internship or work. According to Jennifer Gross, by taking an internship, you spend your time in a career field that you are particularly interested in. You can find out if you enjoy that field and want to study it, and that will give you more incentive to succeed in your studies. It can save you money in the end by finding out if you like what your work could be, and could prevent you from choosing the wrong major. If you aren't sure what you're interested in though, you can always raise extra money to pay for college. Not only do colleges like to see you working for your education, but you also learn real life experiences and learn how to work with other people. If you want to compromise the two though, you can always travel to a different country and work. Visit Oz, an organization from Australia, that helps bring people over to rural communities and farms to work. There are many jobs available, including farm labor, teaching, and mechanics. They also provide a program for you to learn your job before you go out and work. This can be a much cheaper option because you're basically just paying for the airplane ticket because you work for your food and lodging. And working in other countries also broadens your perspective and teaches you how people work in other countries. Well, as you have heard today, there are many opportunities awaiting you. Now let's recap what we have learned today. First, we have heard that gap years are a time to reflect, renew, and refocus, and that it is important to have a well-planned gap year. Then, we have heard the different options available from travel to work. I hope that you have been informed and see the value of gap years. But you can't stop there. We all must decide at some point, what we want to do with our lives, and a gap year is a very relevant option. All you have to do is consider it now, and it just takes a little bit of research for something that could ultimately become a life-changing experience.